last year, I made the decision because I wanted to publish this book. One day I was just like, I'm going to write a story. I was with my men's group, and we did, for one of our things, every Tuesday we get together and we do a different adventure every week. And so the one night we're like, we're going to get together and we're going to write a kid's story. Everybody's going to work on a kid's story. So I wrote this book, Master's Apprentice, in an evening with my group of buddies. And the next day I was like, shit, well, I want that to exist. And I know publishing, it takes, 2 to 3 years to take a book from here's the manuscript to seeing it on a shelf in a store. I was like, I don't want to wait 2 years. I want to see this up in like 9 months. And so I got my assistant to research. She did all the research. She's like, this is going to be really hard. I said, that's not good enough. So I hired my other buddy who was in self-publishing for 5 years, and he did a bunch of research and came back and anyway, skip forward 6 months of researching and spinning the wheels and thinking things through. And I hired a publishing manager. I put together a business plan. I raised $111,000 in investment capital, and I wrote 6 more stories. I found 2 more authors to contribute 7 more stories. I hired a team of 10 illustrators. I hired 3 musicians, 2 producers, and we've produced 16 audio stories ranging from 4 to 90 minutes long. They're like movies for the ears. So our 90-minute one is 15 voice actors. It's custom scored music and sound effects the whole way through. We're raising another $250,000 right now. And I've built a marketing team. I've built like all of these pieces in 9 months just because I was like, oh, I wrote a poem that's actually a nice kid's story. And like, hey, let's like go write a book. And I can't tell you like the commitment of like, okay, we're doing this. Let's just do this. And I didn't know how to publish a book. I have no experience in publishing products since my t-shirt company failed in 2006. So this is like, I've been doing digital ever since then. And we have passed through so many hurdles, and I've had to learn to like, be a creative writer, but also be a CEO of 18 people on my team. I mean, we have, including our voice actors, over 30 people in the last 9 months have joined Magic Kids. And we're doing kids meditations. We're doing audio stories, illustrated books. Every book we launch has an activity book for extracurricular activities and homeschooling activities. And it's just like, it's applying everything that we've done at Magic Media with creators and entrepreneurs. But now it's like, let's do this for kids. And it's been a hell of a journey. And I can't tell you the amount of stress that it's been. It's been this like tension of like extreme creative joy and bliss and like doing exactly what I've trained myself to do for the last 17 years with like, holy shit, what the hell are we doing? How do we figure this out? How do we build a store? How do we do massive distribution? How do we publish? How do we do all these things? It's just like the way that we've gotten through it and how we've accelerated that. I hired my first person and received our investment money last June. We launched our first 7 stories in December. We're now launching a new book and story every 2 weeks and new meditations on the opposite 2 weeks. And how we've gotten to that. 1, mentorship. My team are my mentors. So I have somebody that's built systems for massive distribution. I hired them. I hired a publishing manager that's published over 200 self-published books. We hired a publisher out of Calgary after our first fail with the publisher we were going to go with that we had no relationship with. We hired a real publisher that's been doing it for 30 years. Like, it's just all of these pieces are like, I'm just hiring people that are better and smarter and have more experience in the thing that we're trying to do. And it's been like rocket fuel. And I have no doubt within a month from now, we're going to have $250,000 sitting in the bank account that publishes our next 20 stories and books and gives us about $125,000 of investment or marketing money for the next 6 months to be rocket fuel to propel this thing forward. And the reason I'm sharing this story is none of this would have happened without collaboration. None of this would have happened without mentorship, without asking the right questions, without being bold enough to be like, well, fuck, this might totally fail. This might end up really bad. I might owe a lot of people a lot of money. But it was like the inspiration and the creative drive and the feeling that I got from this idea of producing new stories for kids that are empowering and activating and funny. It was just like, we at least got to try. We have all the skills. We know how to write stories. We can produce world-class media. We can design really cool things. I can enroll artists. And one of the cool things about the model is we're the first ever fair trade publishing. So this was a term that we coined and have registered, that fair trade publishing is we're paying our artists 3 times more than traditional publishing. So we're paying 50% of all of our book revenue goes to the authors and illustrators. And so, there's no roadmap. We can make it up. Most of the business models that we've tried at Magic Media, for membership models, for collaboration models, even like our the investment model that we went with is a revenue-based investment. They don't own shares in Magic Media or Magic Kids. We just give them a percentage of our sales, 5% of our sales, until they double their investment back. That was something I made up. That was the first revenue share investment in Canada ever. The States is starting to do that, but in Canada was the first one. So, we can make it up. We don't have to do business as usual. We don't have to listen to other business incubators. We can just make it up. We can pave a new way. And it's kind of like, how much do you want your vision to be real in reality? And what are you willing to do for it? And if it's an important enough vision to you and it feels like something that's going to contribute to the world, then gosh darn it, you should be doing it, and you should devote your life to that thing and also live your greatest lifestyle. For me, professional golf was the reason I dropped out of college. It's the reason I started my first business. My goal was to sponsor myself to go pro. And here I am 17 years later, and like, I'm doing that. That is the thing. And so like, I've integrated that into my life. I get up at 5 a.m. so I can go play golf and get home before my family wakes up and starts their day in the morning. And yes, I've gone through chapters where I'm sleep deprived, but it's been well worth it. And so, as creators, what are you here to create?